Welcome to Bitter Coffey, a comedy podcast from two friends who are just about over it. I'm Darek Fanton.
And I'm Kelly Coffey.
Welcome, Kelly. How are you tonight?
I am pretty fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm doing really well. We had, yet again, a nice, light meal that consisted of, anything that we could find that your wife could put into a crock pot and then we could then put into ourselves.
Yep.
It's a delicious, delicious roast and some vegetables, and then just to top it off, had some cake.
Yeah,
Why not?
Tonight was meat and cake night.
Absolutely. Meat and cake night.
There's a good excuse for the meat and cake.
Okay.
Today's Michelle's birthday.
Hey, Michelle's birthday, everybody.
Yay, happy
That's
birthday,
exciting.
Michelle. So we didn't have cake for no reason.
Right. Michelle was just basking in her first appearance on the Bitter Coffey podcast from last week, shouting from the other room. So we thought, get her some cake, celebrate her birthday. Maybe that'll be enough for tonight. But we'll see. You never know.
Never know. She's unpredictable. Very unpredictable.
That's why we love her.
Yep.
So we had an incredible meal, as always. We're now trying to recoup and figure out how we move on with our night. Really, eating poorly has become sort of a theme. I don't think the way that our society is set up is conducive to a healthy lifestyle, especially in America for people. And we have discovered that there are people not in America listening to our podcast, which is impressive in and of itself.
We're international.
We're the international podcast, Bitter Coffey. But American culture just does not set itself up well to have you eat better. You go to the grocery store, you shop in the produce section, but then as soon as you leave, they're like, would you like a king-size bag of brownie brittle?
Sure would.
I would. I absolutely would. I didn't know I needed it, but now I do know.
Thank you.
Yeah, much appreciated, Hannafords. We really appreciate your work.
Thanks for helping me out.
Yeah, exactly.
I read somewhere that it's best to shop only in the perimeter of a grocery store.
Oh, interesting.
If you stay out of the aisles, you're fine.
Huh. Is it so it's like a casino? Like as long as you don't go too deep, you're okay?
That's exactly what it's like.
Nice.
Yep. So I haven't tried that.
I've read that it works.
I'm not a gambler.
I've actively avoided doing it.
But
so you would just buy like fresh apples and butter? I'm trying to think of my grocery store and what's on the perimeter. I don't know. I mean, it'd make a delicious crisp, I suppose.
It sure would.
I've realized every time I go to the grocery store, I think, I'm going to be better at this. I'm a middle-aged man. I've been to the grocery store a lot. I've done a lot of grocery shopping. And yet every single time I'm at the grocery store, I spend 85 to 90% of my time just staring at the placards at the end of the aisles. Just desperate. Just tell me where the canned corn is. That's all I want to know.
New age beverages.
Yeah, and that's true. The grocery layout has gotten far more complicated in recent years because now there has to be that, the natural food section. Not has to be. It's good that it's there.
I think it's good that it's there.
I just find that, so our Hannaford specifically down the road here, I know has the situation where half the aisle is the organic stuff, and then the other half of the aisle, like the long way half, is like breakfast bars and granola and oatmeal that's not at all organic or good for you. That means that if I'm at the front of the store trying to get to breakfast bars, a core component of my diet, I don't know they're there because all I see is the organic. I'm like, oh, that's the organic aisle. I don't need to, I'm not going to go down there because there's nothing at the other end. No, there is something at the other end. It's broken halfway down.
Right.
Just seems like poor planning.
I never realized that.
Oh, yeah. Take a look. You're probably better off. You know what you need. You go in, you get what you need, you're out. I go in and think, I need these 12 things. They're all in different aisles, and I know none of their locations. I hate going to the grocery store is my point.
I will do my best to try and eat really well.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know this about me. Again, we always share on this show.
Yeah, it's just about sharing and learning. Thank you, Kelly.
I have a very underactive thyroid. So I have what's called Hashimoto's disease. It's not just regular hypothyroid.
Oh, okay.
So Hashimoto's disease basically is a syndrome where your body thinks that your thyroid gland is some kind of foreign thing. So it creates antibodies to get rid of it.
Oh.
So my body is slowly killing my thyroid.
Wow, so your body has an internal communications breakdown.
Yes, it does.
Wow, okay.
Yes, it does. So I have to take a pill every morning, so it's not the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
But it's incredibly difficult for me to lose weight. And then other times I'll lose weight really rapidly, and then it's really difficult to gain weight. So
Wow.
yeah, it's crazy. I'm all over the map. So I try and do my best to eat well, and I will get up in the morning and I will run 3-4 miles.
Nice.
And I'll have a light snack when I get to work. I'll have 1 cup of coffee. I've even stopped putting dairy in my coffee.
Wow.
I know.
I couldn't possibly.
And then when I get home around lunchtime, because I only work part-time during the day, I'll pretty much come home and eat everything.
Everything. All of the things.
I'll eat everything.
Whatever's on hand.
Or I'll have like a lot of things that are kind of healthy, but not really.
That you could convince yourself are healthy.
Yeah,
if you
it's
squint.
it's 1 jumbo marshmallow.
It is but 1.
It's 1.
It may be the size of my hand.
It's 1.
But it's 1.
Yeah.
It can't possibly be bad for you.
And I'll have like a handful of like little cherry tomatoes and some marshmallows.
Yeah. A natural pairing, I think.
Absolutely. They go quite well together.
They do. I believe the Italians make a dish that is exclusively
They do.
linguine,
Yep.
cherry tomatoes, marshmallows.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 But
Sounds delightful.
I'm hungry again. Sounds like a great follow-up to that cake we had earlier.
Indeed.
So I'm trying to get to the gym very early in the morning. I try and get there by 5 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Which is early and whatever. But I'm a morning person. And, well, that's
I'm
why,
not.
here it is. It's 7:45 and I'm half asleep.
Just exhausted.
Right now.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted at 7:45 p.m.
Like an adult.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll go to the gym. I'll have this really great workout. And then on my way home, I will kind of move around the dial a little bit, try and find something on the radio to listen to. And because I leave the gym at about 6:15 in the morning.
Yeah, I was going to say that time of day, I bet the pickings are a little slim.
Very slim. It's either really good or really bad.
Yeah.
But there's this religious radio station, not that there's anything wrong with that,
No.
that I keep running into. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, they do their novena. Have you ever heard of Mother Angelica?
I am a filthy heathen, so no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she used to be Sister Angelica.
Okay.
And then she was, I guess, promoted
Nice. I mean, I'm assuming that's how it works within the church.
to a mother, and she prays the rosary.
Oh, okay.
So she does the first half, and then the junior nuns, or whoever.
The lesser nuns?
Yes.
I believe is how they're
or like the trainees, or whatever they are.
Barely Ennies?
Yep.
Would that be what a lesser nun is?
I don't know. Maybe just what are nuns in training called? I don't know. If you know the answer, send us an email and let us know. So she'll do the first half, and then they'll kind of do the response back to her.
Oh, it's like a call and response. Awesome.
It is.
It's my favorite part of church.
I'm going to play this for you.
Okay.
Because they do this a lot. And having gone to Catholic school, I should know off the top of my head how many times they do the prayers. I want to say it's 50.
I was going to say, I believe it's at least 125 as
I
someone
think
who
it's-
also went to Catholic school.
Because they're called decades. Are they decades on the rosary beads?
It feels like a century to
Yep.
me.
All right, so I'm going to play this for you. So this is Mother Angelica. She does the first half.
Okay.
And then it's, like you said, it's a call and response. Let's see, I'm going to turn up the volume a little bit.
Full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Oh my God.
Ooh, powerful. What was any of that?
The Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Sounds like she's running out of gas.
Yeah, there's definitely, she got a little more down tempo for sure.
Yep.
Okay, that
Okay,
second part
so-
is like nightmare fuel to me. The like mumbling to some sort of cadence, and there are clearly words being said, but you can't really understand. Get me out of there.
Yeah.
Also, does she we run into a lot of people who don't really open their mouths all the way. I'm sort of
Like,
sensing,
is that Donald Sutherland?
I was gonna say,
Could
I'm
be.
sensing a theme, Kelly.
Is it Kiefer? I think Kiefer stopped opening his mouth as well.
God bless her, though. I mean,
absolutely. No, she's doing her thing. You do you, Mother Angelica.
Good for
But
her.
When I'm looking for music on the radio, this is what I'm often faced with.
so you're coming back from the gym. You've just worked out. You're tired as it is.
Yep.
You're looking for something to jumpstart your day so you can get ready to go, and you run into
I run into that.
the buzzsaw that is
So I end
Mother
up just
Angelica.
shutting off the radio.
You shut it off, do you?
Yeah.
Praise Jesus. I never knew I had a talent for that until tonight.
really
I didn't realize
do.
that I had a good lispy-S.
You really do. It's really impressive.
Hi, Chris. It's a Family Guy reference. Good stuff.
So yeah, so that keeps me from wanting to go to the gym
Or
because
church.
I know I don't go to church anymore. I don't. Actually, one of the last times I was in a church, I clapped at a funeral.
Oh, Kelly,
Mm-hmm.
no.
No, it wasn't because I was happy that the person was deceased.
Okay.
It was a celebration of life.
Okay.
There was a video,
Mm-hmm.
and there was music.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you're not like the priest wasn't like doing some sermon and you were like,
wasn't
preach
like,
it.
That was
Yeah.
great. No.
Okay,
No,
good.
there was video over photos of the person who had died.
Right.
And they played, I believe the song they were playing was These Are Days by 10,000 Maniacs.
Oh,
So, songs
what an
going,
interesting choice.
lots of really happy photos in a video montage, credits, song fades.
Yep.
There's me clapping.
And I'm assuming alone.
The only other person that clapped was Michelle. It was our third date.
Hashtag relationship goals once
Yeah.
again, Kelly.
Yeah. I said, so what are you doing this weekend? And she said, I don't know. What's up? I said, I'm going to go to a funeral. Would you like to go? And she said, sure.
Would you like to go
Would you like to go?
to a funeral? That is love.
Yep.
That is love.
That's when I knew.
You guys were destined to be together. Anytime someone is willing to opt into a funeral with you.
Yeah. To do anything with me, really. It was so new in our relationship that we had the GPS and we were headed to upstate New York.
Mm-hmm.
And it was going to take us like maybe 9 hours to get there.
Oh, my God.
You know what I said? It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Wow.
It's fine. We're just enjoying the ride, enjoying one
Yeah.
another's company. Now it's like I'm more often than not, I'm not allowed to drive my car. If one of us is going somewhere with the other, Michelle will say, no, I'll drive.
She's learned over the years.
Yeah, she has. I learned to drive in New Jersey, so there's a bit of
Okay.
aggression
Yeah.
in my driving skills.
I see. I
You've
understand.
driven with me.
I have.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get it. And honestly, I think it serves you well in the long run, but
It
in
does.
the short run, as in when you're like a passenger in your vehicle, it could be a little concerning for people not used to that sort of stuff.
Right.
I grew up in Vermont and learned to drive in Vermont, and I remember my driving teacher telling me, or telling all of us, have your parents drive you out to St. Albans because those are more city-like roads.
Oh.
From Fairfax. Drive from Fairfax because the roads that, between Fairfax and St. Albans might be, those are probably okay. But once you start getting into the city, it's a little bit tougher. But you want to know what that's like. Because
The
you're gonna,
hustle and the bustle.
Exactly.
Sure.
Really the action that is happening in St. Albans, Vermont.
Chaos.
It's just out of control. Exactly. So they wanted us to learn to be able to drive in those conditions. Again, air quotes for the podcast. Those conditions. I think it was until I basically went to college in southern New Hampshire that I ever was on like a 3-lane, God forbid, highway.
Yikes.
And I distinctly remember thinking back to my driving teacher saying that St. Albans was going to prepare us for a more city-like driving experience. And this is whatever, many years later, and I was like, I wish I had his phone number. I wish I could call him right now and be like, you did not prepare us.
Yeah.
This is not at all what I was explained to be city driving. There is not a single creamy stand out here or farm with 7 dogs outside. There's like a lot of cars and multiple lanes, and I don't know what to do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe you can track him down.
He's probably still doing his thing. I was very fortunate in that my English teacher in high school was actually my driver's ed teacher as well. So he had gotten certified to do driver's ed. And so we were actually able to do driver's ed at the school.
Our driver's ed teacher was our gym teacher.
Oh.
Yep. Mr. Edwards was his name.
Okay.
Not really a nice man.
What is it about gym teachers and
I don't
not
know.
being nice?
Oh, yeah, I could tell you stories, but I won't. So Mr. Edwards was our gym teacher, one of our gym teachers, and also the driver's ed teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And same kind of thing. You could kind of joke around with them in gym class because
Yeah.
that's what gym class is all about. Let's face it.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you're behind the wheel, all the jokes had to stop. So one of my friends and I decided one day we had this great idea. After we got our driver's licenses,
Mm-hmm.
we decided to cut class one day and drive around and follow one of our friends who was in the
Taking
driver's ed car.
This
Yeah.
is a brilliant idea,
And
Kelly.
like tailgating and honking the horn. I mean,
So you were driver's ed hazing?
we were.
Amazing.
And for some reason, I don't know why we thought that we weren't going to get in trouble. Like,
Hey, you're in a whole different car.
he'll
What could he
never know it's
possibly do?
us. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of 75 Pontiac Le Manses cruising around New Jersey.
And you weren't drawing attention to yourself by
No.
like honking the horn.
And like the laughing and the windows are down and there's like a radio and there's screaming.
You're waving your school ID around, and there's a
God,
bumper
it was
sticker
great.
that's got your name on it or something.
So the next day in gym class,
Oh man.
he called us out. I had to do jumping jacks in front of the entire class
Oh wow.
for the whole 40 minutes.
He was not messing around.
Everybody else got a break. And I had to just do jumping jacks for 40 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I couldn't stop, and it was a whole thing. And I mean, looking back now, I just could have said no.
Well, you never feel like you can say no in
No.
those situations.
Now I do.
though. Well, now
Now
all
I
the
do.
situations are a no.
Yeah. Barbara was the name of the person that we had followed around.
Barbara. Not a lot of Barbaras these days.
And I remember thinking, isn't that a weird name for a child? Oh, what did you name your baby? We named her Barbara.
Old baby Barbara. Baby Barbara I know that song.
Precious baby Barbara. We call her Barb.
Better than bra, I suppose.
Where's Barb? Oh, she's outside playing.
We'd like to apologize to everyone in our podcast audience who's named Barbara. It's a fine name. There's nothing wrong with
There's
the name.
nothing wrong with it. It just seems like Barbara is one of those names that you automatically think that they're just going to be born 29 years old.
It's interesting that there are definitely names that do not apply to a baby.
Pam. Pam is a name.
And you wouldn't want to call your baby Pamela.
No, well,
Is Pamela better?
I don't know. Again, we're tackling tough topics.
Choose your baby name. Names not appropriate for a baby, but more appropriate for a grown person.
Lance.
Clarence is actually where I was headed, sort of a Lance derivative.
Yeah.
Names you shouldn't name your baby. That won't be the random question tonight, but it would be an interesting random question. What's the worst baby name? No, not like worst name, just specifically for a baby.
Yeah. Oh, what did you name your baby? Oh, this baby, we named her Linda.
Linda.
You know, it's like you automatically think the person's like in their 30s.
I bet there's a website for adult baby names.
There has to be.
Yeah.
We should research that.
If only we had the opportunity to do research on this show.
I know.
We don't.
We rarely
So
do.
that's
I mean,
not
look at
gonna
how
happen.
long it took me to find that Mother Angelica bit.
Like minute and a half I cut out of the podcast with
Yeah.
the Mother Angelica
Yeah.
bit.
Yep. Oh, darn it. Sorry, everybody.
learned. It's interesting. We have learned the power of editing in the time that we've been doing the podcast. You mentioned to me earlier that you get behind a mic and you feel like this is like we're recording to tape. Like there's nothing, like it's a reel to reel on the wall and there's nothing we can do about it. Like, oh God, that's permanent. That's not
Never
how,
going anywhere.
That's not how digital recording works.
That's it. It's in stone.
We have a stenographer who's literally carving each word.
She's doing steno.
Steno
Shorthand.
into tablets though. With a
Oh,
chisel.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, we're not going to half-ass it here on Bitter Coffey.
No, we haven't yet.
But you realize that, we could just take that out, or you could just say it again. So many times there's been situations where I go, why didn't we just do that again? Or I'm listening to something, well, I got to cut that whole thing out because it was crap. It's like, we could have just done it again and it'd have been fine.
We've done our intro more than once.
I mean, we
on
didn't.
a show?
We definitely didn't do the intro at least 3 times on this show.
No.
No,
Nope,
absolutely not.
not
Nail
at
it
all.
first time, every time.
Every time.
So one of the segments, remember those? Remember when we used to do segments and it was like a thing we were going to keep doing?
Yeah.
That was quite a pipe dream we had.
Let's bring them back.
Let's bring them back. So one of the things we wanted to make sure that we continued to hit on was the talking TV idea. That is one thing that Kelly and I certainly have in common, and I think a lot of folks out there have in common as well, with all the different places that you can get your media these days. There's a lot of TV shows. The way that they do commercials has changed, and if anybody out there watches any streaming services, I think you've experienced the fact that a lot of times you were watching the same commercials over and over and over again ad nauseum.
And if you have the Xfinity app and you stream, like in the mornings, I will listen to Morning Joe, and it's the same 4 commercials.
Yeah.
And they're much louder.
Oh, yeah.
Than the show.
Absolutely. Much louder than the show.
And I'll kind of listen to them when I'm in the shower and when I'm ironing and all that stuff. So it's not really easy for me to just run and lower my Bluetooth speaker.
Right.
So I'll let them blare, and it just sets a weird tone for my day.
Yeah.
And I find that they'll use different commercials every couple of weeks. And right now I am knees deep.
Both
in
knees.
Both knees. I wanted to say balls deep.
I know you did. I could see you pausing. Should I go balls?
Should I go balls?
We've had a lot of balls on this show.
There's balls every show.
Should I just stick with balls?
So they will play the same 3 or 4 commercials, and they're always much louder than the actual
incredibly
program
obnoxiously
that I'm
louder.
I just
the
called the show a program. I'm officially turning into my grandmother.
Note this time. It has happened.
There we go. It is 8:08 on October 23rd, 2018.
It sounds like a death pronouncement, and I don't know that we're that far off.
I mean, who knows? But at least I didn't say program.
Program. Watching your stories.
I was listening to my programs.
Uh-huh.
Have you heard the Ray Liotta commercial for Chantix? Is it Chantix or Shantix?
Oh, God, the Ray Liotta Chantix commercial.
Have you heard it?
Yes. They're
It's
always for pharmaceuticals, too.
every single time.
Uh-huh.
Every
I
single time.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And he's obviously it's a drug that people take in order to quit smoking, which
Great.
I'm all for.
Yeah, for sure.
Fantastic. But he kind of struggles through the commercial, and he'll say
well,
like,
it's Ray Liotta.
I needed help. I couldn't quit smoking. And then he mentions that now that he's a non-smoker, and in my head I'm thinking, yay, Ray Liotta.
You, Ray.
And he says, this is the best role I've ever had. And I'm thinking, no.
Come on, Ray.
You were a lot better in Goodfellas.
Yeah,
than
give yourself
you are
some
as a
credit.
non-smoker.
For
but
sure.
you know, I don't want to ruin his day,
Uh-huh.
because you know what happens when you ruin his day. You've seen Goodfellas. It's not going to end well. It is not going to end well.
But if you're judging the best role, it would need to be the one that you're most interested in watching, right? And so is Ray Liotta trying to tell us that we would rather watch him in a Chantix commercial than we would in Goodfellas?
I think that's what he's trying to tell us.
That seems like a stretch, Ray.
I'm not selling what he's buying.
For some reason, it is always pharmaceutical companies. We have a thing in our house where, you know, we have Hulu. We do pay for the non-commercial Hulu, but sometimes the newer shows, they put the commercials in anyway because they know people have a demand to watch those shows. And so one of the commercials that is constantly on one of the shows that we're watching on Hulu is the Zeljans commercial. And that is the only way we know how to say it. Zeljans.
Zeljans.
They're all spelt with letters that don't go together. Like Chantix is okay, but there's still a little bit of that. Zeljans, and I had to look this up because I was a little bit curious actually. Zeljans is spelt Xeljanz. Those are letters that don't belong next to each other, and it is pronounced Zeljans. And so
that's like the letters you have left over, like at the end of a Scrabble game.
You're just staring at your board for 25 minutes because you've got a Z and an X and a J. You could only spell Zeljans, so maybe there was sort of a pharmaceutical letters draft, and Zeljans got a bad pick, and they were at the end, and they were like, I guess I'll take the X, and I end up with the Z. It's terrible. So Zeljans. That there are probably others out there. I'd be curious if other people have commercials that they wish people would stop playing, that they wish could just go away. I'd love to hear about it.
Not that we can do anything about it.
No, we can't. We're not actually plugged in.
With
Not
you.
just yet. Not just yet. We're working on it.
Sure.
We're working on, we'll figure out the sponsorship situation at some point here soon,
Sure.
and we'll eventually have an in at the TV company.
It's
the
probably going to be
TV company.
Zeljans is going to be.
Oh my God! Could we get a Zeljans sponsor? Wait, hang on. What is Zeljans fucking for? I would like to know before I.
I'm going to guess.
Guess what Zeljans for? And to be fair, I don't remember. So
I'm going to say it's for acid reflux.
Okay, that's a good bet. I'm gonna say I don't think it's for fibromyalgia, but it could be.
Okay.
It could be.
Oh, is it for rheumatoid arthritis?
It is for rheumatoid arthritis. Kelly got there right before I found it.
Because I remember the commercial is this really happy family and everybody's dressed in white.
Yep.
And mom's lifting up children and fixing things.
Which she couldn't otherwise do.
She couldn't do it without Xeljanz.
Were it not for the Xeljanz.
Nope. All right, give me another pharmaceutical and I'll tell you what it's for.
What's funny is I just happened to Google, before we started the podcast, I Googled TV commercials for medications. And if you Google that, it gets just, the first result is a big old list of things you've probably seen.
So Chantix or Shantix, is it a hard C? Is it Chantix or Shantix?
If you went to the pharmacy and you're like, can I get the Chantix? They were like, it's pronounced Shantix. It's Belgian and it's pronounced Shantix. Eliquis? Do you know what Eliquis is for?
Oh, that's for erections.
Is it?
I don't know. I'm guessing. But I sounded like I knew what I was talking about.
Eliquis, deep vein thrombosis,
Ah,
pulmonary
okay.
embolism.
I mean,
Good
tomato,
effort.
tomato.
Good. I mean, you had a good. That was a good guess.
Circulatory issues.
Shantix, which is how I'm going to pronounce it from now on.
Mm-hmm. Ray Liotta syndrome.
Ray Liotta.
I need it out. What else you got?
There's Lyrica.
Oh,
Which
Lyrica.
is a great name, an unfortunate name, because that's actually a good baby name.
It's a really great baby
and
name.
that now it's ruined. You can't have Lyrica.
Is Lyrica for sleep? No. Lyrica's for depression.
Oh, Lyrica is fibromyalgia. That's what Lyrica is for. It treats fibromyalgia.
It's a pretty name for
and diabetic
drug.
nerve pain. It is too. Okay, so one more.
Okay.
Humira. That's another one that I
That's
constantly
for
see.
rheumatoid arthritis.
Humira treatment for psoriasis.
No.
Yep, I'm afraid so. Thanks for playing though, Kelly. This has been fun. This has been our first episode of Funmaceuticals. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with Funmaceuticals.
Look at that.
The new game show on Bitter Coffey.
Look at that.
So we definitely want to make sure that we continue with the random question. And I asked around today a little bit on Twitter and on Facebook, and we had a great random question suggestion from Chris. So Chris wrote in and said, I have a potential podcast discussion topic might make for a great random question. What are both of your positions on people who put their shitty insert object name on the street with a free sign instead of taking the effort to properly dispose of it? Listen, nobody wants that horrible DIY cat tree you made, asshole. Great question.
It's an excellent question.
Thank you, Chris. We appreciate it.
This could be a whole
We
show.
could talk about this forever. I live in a condo association, and we have a shared dumpster, and that dumpster will only accept standard dumpstery type things, not, say, huge lamps or lazy boys
Really
or
big couch.
giant televisions. You just can't put it in the dumpster. So rather than bring it anywhere and actually dispose of it, by the way, the recycle center is maybe half a mile down the road from my place. People will put it on the street and they'll put a free sign on it and it'll just sit there.
Like they're helping people.
Exactly.
Here, I want you to have this.
They're not lazy. They're philanthropic, Kelly.
Right.
They're really trying to help the neighborhood, trying to help their neighbors.
Give this to you.
Please take this. You're welcome, everyone.
Just because I don't need it anymore doesn't mean that somebody else can't have it.
Just because I can't use this broken TV doesn't mean that... No, it does mean that no one can use that TV.
Yeah.
Please just get rid of it like you're supposed to. The other thing that comes to mind is it's often like couches that maybe someone could use. I used a pretty crap couch when I was in college. I just put a cover on it and it was fine. But the thing they do is they'll put it out, they'll put a free sign on it on a horrible day, on a rainy, disgusting day. And it
Blizzard.
just pours or snows. And now something that might have been salvageable if you had brought it to some sort of recycling center that maybe does resale or cleaning, upholstery or whatever, and then reselling it. No, you put it outside, it poured, now you've just got a soggy couch that no one wanted in the first place. And so Chris's cat tree comment is accurate as well. I have definitely seen like pet furniture and children's room furniture and bedding and stuff outside with a free sign on it. Again, usually scrawled on a piece of cardboard. No one wanted it when it was in good shape. No one wants it now that you've beat the shit out of it, whatever that thing is. And they certainly don't want it once it's wet. Nobody wants a wet, do-it-yourself cat tree.
But here's the thing, and I think this is what people who put free stuff out on the street think.
Okay, I'm ready.
They
I have
think
no idea.
It's out on the street, there's a sign on it, it's no longer my problem.
Oh, right. It is now.
It's not my couch anymore.
They've done their job.
It belongs to whoever.
It belongs to the universe now.
It's done.
Yep.
Somebody will take it.
Yep. And if they don't, I already put the free sign on it.
It's
what more
not
could
my
you
problem.
expect?
I don't have room for it.
Right.
I have a new couch.
Right.
I don't have room for that.
It's not like I can
couch.
bring it back inside.
No, it's soaked. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
There's a house at the end of my street, and I've found this happens a lot in Vermont. A lot of people have chickens.
Oh, yeah.
You know
they
the
do.
chicken people. You
I
remember
do.
the chicken
I remember the
people.
chicken people.
So the chicken people live on my street, and they're constantly putting things out with the free sign.
Mm-hmm.
And it's creepy stuff. It's like a 3-wheeled baby carriage, but it originally had 4 wheels.
Oh, God.
You know, like
A disused
it doesn't
baby
work.
carriage.
Just
Yeah.
throw it away. Just throw it away.
The people who believe nothing is trash are
Right.
the
Well,
people
no,
who put the
somebody
free
will
sign
have
out.
somebody's got that extra wheel hanging around.
Somebody's been looking for the other 3 wheels to their 4-wheel stroller for years.
I'm going to help them. So every once in a blue moon, although I can't do this when Michelle's in the car with me, I'll kind of roll down the window and I'll be like, clean up your yard. And I don't know if they hear me. I have no idea, but it makes me feel so much better. And the other people that I don't like, well, a whole other show.
I was going to say, that's a long list, Kelly. We only have so much time.
But an extension of the free sign people are the people who will rake their leaves out onto the street.
Oh, man. Yes, because that's not their yard.
No.
That's town property.
That belongs to the city now.
So they've gotten rid of the leaves on their yard, and now they've deposited them in the city leave deposit box.
In the road.
The street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That drives me up a wall.
Yeah. We had a neighborhood argument for many years growing up about where the grass clippings were being thrown by the riding mower. We had a neighbor. We shared a driveway. We would mow the yard so the grass would blow away from the driveway.
Wow, that's a lot of thought.
You didn't want the grass in the driveway. Then it gets on your car, it gets on your shoes, you track it in the house, but if it's on
Everywhere.
the yard,
It's a nightmare.
Exactly, not a problem. So we would mow it was sort of like the Butter Battle book or something like that, where we would mow it the right way, and then they would mow it into the road.
The what?
The Butter Battle book?
I don't know what you're saying.
Great Dr. Seuss. It's actually about nuclear proliferation and sort of the idea of the building of technology to everyone's end, essentially.
Okay. Well, I went to Catholic school, so we didn't really.
Gotcha.
We learned nothing.
You didn't delve into that necessarily.
Nope.
Butter Battle book. Anybody who's read that book as a kid, it's like, look at these cool gadgets of all of these different interesting weapons that they've created, because one town buttered their butter on the top of the bread and the other town buttered their butter on the bottom of the bread. And the people responsible for guarding the wall between the towns escalated their armaments over time, went from like a rock to a slingshot to like a triple slingshot to like a quadruple slingshot, and then it was launching boulders, and then they were on fire or something, and then eventually it got to this, I have this pill, and this pill does everything that all of those other weapons did, but essentially it will destroy you completely. Basically, it was about nuclear war.
It's a great children's book.
It's really heartwarming. Really heartwarming story. Anyway, so that relates directly to the way that we used to mow the lawn.
Makes sense.
Yeah, just really pieces together cleanly.
Yeah. I wanted to take a minute and thank everybody who not only has listened, but also those fine folks who have written reviews.
Yes.
On iTunes.
Which people are doing. Thank you so much
It's
for
really
everybody
exciting.
who's leaving reviews. We promised we'd do it when we started getting reviews, and here we are. So
here we are.
Why don't you read the first one, Kelly?
I can read the first one. Hilarious and thought-provoking, and 5 stars. Worth listening to anytime, and especially when you need to time out and laugh yourself into better.
Laugh yourself into better is one of my new favorite phrases, and I'm going to try to take that with me.
It's great.
I initially thought it said laugh yourself into bitter, like playing off the podcast name.
Yeah.
Also good.
Good.
I laugh myself into bitter also.
I originally thought it was butter.
Laugh
and then
yourself
bitter.
into butter?
Yeah, I kind of went through all the vowels. And
Any
then,
of those are fine by
any of
me.
those
I'd
work.
be good with those.
Laugh yourself into butter. Go on.
I can't believe it's not butter.
I can't believe I laughed myself into butter.
So that was from Water77 Sign. Thank you very much for that review.
Yay, thank you.
We've got another one here. This username caught me off guard, but, you know, it's a username. You pick your own usernames. I have a terrible Twitter handle, so I understand. This one's from Skin Trade 1. Saucy. With the title Amazing. Kelly is a breath of fresh air, and I'm not saying this simply since I've known her since our angsty teenage years. Together, her and Darek have amazing banter and tell it like it is. Look forward to every podcast.
Fantastic.
We
Thank
do try
you
to,
so much.
We do try to tell it how it is. That's
we
true.
do. It's the only way I know how to tell it.
It's the only way it is.
Next is from, and this is the actual name, and I love it, Fern's Grammy Fern.
It's like Fern, her grandmother, whose name is also Fern.
Yep.
Love it.
It's like Fern the second. Fern's Granny Fern gave us 5 stars.
Thank you, Fern's Granny Fern.
And she writes, funny, relatable, and delightful. Just 2 friends talking, and I can't believe how much I'm enjoying this podcast. Thank you so much.
We can't believe how much people are enjoying the podcast either, and we are just 2 friends talking. So
that's all we're doing.
It's a really it encapsulates the entire show.
It's fantastic.
Thank you, Fern's Granny Fern. Great screen name, great iTunes review. We really appreciate it. And thank you again to everybody who's listened, who's subscribed. We can't thank you enough. It's been a lot of fun, and don't worry, we're going to keep doing it.
Well, I think we're going to keep doing this.
Yeah, it seemed like a thing we're going to keep doing, so that's exciting.
You know, we popped up on Spotify today.
We did pop up on Spotify today.
We're now on Spotify.
Who knew? Certainly not me, because I had submitted it quite a while ago and sort of had stopped looking. And then suddenly it was there today. I just happened to see it. So that's exciting. Check us out on Spotify. Again, you can subscribe to us on iTunes. You can get to the website, bittercoffeepod.com. And again, it's Coffey. I've watched a couple of people subscribe to us on iTunes just because they're like, oh, you have a podcast. Let me check it out. And I said, oh, it's Bitter Coffee. And then they go to look it up and they do the EE and it doesn't show up. So I got to make sure that it's Coffey, the Bitter Coffee Podcast.
So just to reiterate from last week, anybody who subscribes gets a coffee mug from us.
Yeah, merch. First merch item.
It's exciting. We're going to do coffee mugs. I think we're going to do t-shirts.
We'll probably do t-shirts at some point.
We're going to do hats, but I'm really afraid of making like a really shitty hat.
Yeah.
It's all like puffy in the front.
Yeah, there's enough shitty hats in our world right now.
Yeah, I think
we don't need to add to the number of shitty hats out there.
No, we don't.
So yeah, first 50 subscribers get a Bitter Coffee coffee mug. As we mentioned last week, if you do subscribe to the podcast, because iTunes is weird and does weird things, we need you to email us. Let us know that you subscribed, and we'll hit you back and get your address. And once we have those mugs, which may be a while, just keep that in mind. We're sort of overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of mug options.
There's a lot of mug options out there.
Who would have thought? And
here's another thing that I want to touch on. I had no idea, just kind of in that same vein of who knew, doing a podcast, it's kind of a lot of work.
Yeah, as it turns out, there's a lot to it.
It's not just sitting here and chatting. I mean, that's what it is.
Right.
But there's more to it.
There's more to it than that.
Like, I have to write things down.
Sure.
I have to remember to talk about stuff.
You did, though, get us our first office supplies. I sat down tonight and Kelly very elaborately and excitedly presented me
proud.
with my very own Bitter Coffee small format notepad and pen.
But it doesn't say Bitter
No.
Coffee
Let's be
on
clear.
It's
It doesn't. It's not
pen.
branded anyway. It's just a pen and a notepad. But
Yeah.
what it represents is more important than what it is, Kelly.
We're moving up.
Office supplies.
We're moving up. We have office supplies now. It's an exciting time to be alive. I think I'm ready to wrap it up.
All right. I think we've hit on everything
Anything
we wanted
else
to hit
you
on.
want to talk about?
Honestly, I just want to thank again everybody for listening and everybody for subscribing.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody.
And we will be back here again next week. Our intro and outro music is Hold Me Down by John Worthy and the Bends. And thank you again for listening to Bitter Coffee. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.